everyone, I hope you're all well. Welcome to my 2021 goals video. Without further ado, let's jump straight in. My first goal for 2021 is to reduce my stash. This is my stash behind me and beside me, kind of sat in amongst it. A lot of this has been built up over the last 6 years of sewing, so it's not like this built up overnight or anything. And a lot of it is stuff that I accumulated when I was still sewing a lot for my children. So there's lots of like flowery pink stuff in here, things that I wouldn't really want to use for myself. So my plan is to make some stuff for the kids and to also de-stash where I can. About half of it was bought with projects in mind, so I do know that I can shop from my stash before I actually buy anything this year. I might have to buy a few supplementary fabrics and some elastics and zips and stuff, but for the majority of the time I think I'm going to try and shop from my stash. That brings me on to my second goal, which is to try and only buy either second-hand fabrics or organic fabrics this year. I will try and buy from de-stash, so people out there at home who have fabrics that they don't want to use anymore, try and buy from them. But also I want to try and buy dead stock fabrics where possible. This is if I even need to buy at all. I do have a feeling I'll probably need to buy things like French terry or sweatshirting or jersey, because a lot of the fabrics that I do still have are kind of prints or stripes, so they'll probably need a contrasting fabric to go with them. But I will try and buy GOTS organic certified stuff where possible, just to try and reduce my footprint a little bit. Also, if I can buy fabrics that have eco creds, so I think like Tencel has it claims to be manufactured in kind of a closed loop system. If I can buy fabrics like that, I will try and do that as well. My next goal is to only wear things that I make or buy secondhand. I'm including all the ready-to-wear stuff that's already in my wardrobe right now in that kind of umbrella, because that, you know, it's more sustainable to wear the stuff that you have than to get rid of it and buy new. And I'm quite happy for the most part with my wardrobe. There are bits and pieces that I need to add to it this year, which I'll come on to in my Make 9. So I'll only buy things that are secondhand, except for socks. I will buy socks. My next goal is to try and support small businesses as much as possible. This includes fabric vendors, those sort of micro SMEs out there, one man and one woman bands who really need our support this year. And also pattern designers. I'll be supporting indie pattern designers as much as possible. And then my last goal is to use scraps. I have 3 bags full of scraps here. Some of them are like really what I'd consider micro scraps, where you can't possibly do anything more useful with them anymore in a sewing sense, like little stringy bits and just tiny little odd shapes. So I think I'm going to try and make 1 or 2 poofs, and I'll make some cat beds for Lily, and I'm kind of out of ideas after that. So if you have any ideas of what I can use small scraps for, please do let me know and drop me a comment down below. I'm all ears. For any larger scraps, I'll try and de-stash those via some of the groups on Facebook or on my Instagram de-stash. I have a de-stash account, in case you didn't know. So if you want to give that Instagram account a follow and keep your eye out for any fabrics that I might be de-stashing from my stash or scrap bags, I'll put a link to that one down below. So let's talk about my Make 9 and what a disaster it was last year. I had on my list the Ginger Jeans by Closet Core Patterns. I had the, I'm gonna have to pull it up on my phone. So on the list I had a pair of ginger jeans, I had the Muscle Tank by Green Style Creations, the Gemma Sweatshirt by Named Clothing, the Range Backpack by Noodle Head. I was planning a Worth gown recreation, which was going to be like the big project, and some Dawn jeans by Megan Nielsen, an EXO bralette by Evie La Love, Black Beauty bra by Emerald Erin, and the Victoria corset by So Curvy. So basically what I found was that I made all of the lingerie and then sacked the rest of it off completely. I made the EXO bralette, I made the Black Beauty bra by Emerald Erin, and I did make a corset, even though it wasn't the Victoria corset pattern. I drafted my own, which we talked about a bit in my last video. So I didn't get round to my Worth gown last year. I chickened out big time on that project. I do still want to make it this year, but I am probably going to have to buy fabric for it. Trying to get about 8 meters worth of velvet or silk from a D-stash or dead stock is probably going to be a big ask. So I might need to buy fabric for that and break or bend the rules a little bit. I didn't make the Range backpack simply because I was going to make that for taking to the office, and going to the office didn't really happen last year, so I had no need to transport my laptop around. So I didn't end up making that. But I do want to dip my toe into the world of bag making this year, so we'll talk about my future plans and my Make 9 for 2021 in a minute. Ginger jeans were on the list. I don't actually know why I didn't get round to making these. I think again it was a lockdown thing, that no one was really going anywhere and comfy clothes took priority over things like jeans. The Muscle Tank I didn't make because I actually got my Sewing Bee makes back in the post towards the end of last year, and there were some sportswear bits and pieces in there that I made for the tennis challenge. So I actually wore the Muscle Tank that I made for that challenge instead. The Gemma sweater, just in the end, although I liked it at the time, didn't really take my fancy. And this is one of the things that I want to address with my Make 9 for 2021, is that I'm not going to specify patterns to make. I'm going to specify projects and then decide the pattern closer to the time, because I think deciding the pattern at the beginning of the year kind of boxes you in, and patterns that I think I like from one month change the next. So yeah, I'm not going to box myself in and specify patterns, I don't think. The last thing on that list was the Dawn jeans as well, which I think again they just took a back seat because lockdown and comfy. So let's talk about my Make 9 for 2021. My plan is to not be too prescriptive with what pattern I'm going to make, but rather say what project I want to make. The first two are linked to the Victorian ball that I'm still really hopeful that we're going to get to in May, although, you know, you might say it looks unlikely. The first project is the underpinnings, so the petticoats that floof out the bottom of the skirt. I have a pile of sheets here ready and waiting to be dyed to become said petticoat. And the second project is the Victorian ball gown that I didn't get around to making last year. I feel like my sewing's come on a lot since I committed to doing that, and I no longer feel quite as daunted, although still a healthy amount of daunted by doing it. But I'm just going to commit and try and get it done, because what I don't want to do is procrastinate until May and then find out that I've got 2 weeks to make it and be up all night and crying. My plan all along for the ball gown has been to sew it in velvet with a kind of champagne lace, and I'll flash a picture up of the inspiration behind it, which is an original Worth gown that is in the Met Museum in New York, I think. I'd like to do this in a kind of peacock blue or navy blue velvet with champagne lace and champagne petticoat. But that could possibly change. I'm also really drawn towards red colours, and I know that claret kind of colours were very popular in Victorian times. So I'm leaning one way or the other. It'll either be like this kind of really deep peacocky blue, or it'll be a really deep claret blood coloured red. I am hoping that in 2021 we'll get back to some sort of sense of normality, and I'm hoping that that will bring with it my desire to wear jeans. I've found that a lot of the jeans that I have in my drawers don't fit me anymore. So yeah, I'd like to make some jeans in the hope that things will actually go back to normal a little bit this year. And I also need jean shorts. Also, I would like more layering pieces. So I know that the world has gone mad for shackets for some reason, but I did buy the stacker jacket pattern, and I would like to make that. I know I said I won't be prescriptive about patterns, but it's the only shacket pattern that I found that I really like. So I am going to make a shacket for layering in the spring when the weather warms up a little bit more. When it comes to lingerie, one thing that I find that I'm really missing in my wardrobe is a strapless bra. I haven't found a good strapless bra pattern that I really like. There's the Esplanade bra by Orange Lingerie, but I think I'm going to have a go at making my own, which will mean adapting a pattern to take underwires that suit a strapless bra, and also probably putting some boning and some side seams and increasing the height of the back band. If anyone knows of any tutorials, I'm sure Liz Soares must have one because she has a tutorial for everything else. But if anyone knows of any tutorials on how to draft your own strapless bra, please hit me up with suggestions. The next two projects that I want to make are quite functional pieces. So I would like to make myself a gardening apron, and I noticed that Helen's Closet has a pattern for like a sort of half gardening apron, or like tool belty apron. I basically just want an apron that's going to stop my clothes getting filthy in the first place, but also when you're gardening it's useful to have a place to put your secateurs and your pruning knife and other bits and pieces that you might want to carry about, pencil for writing on plant labels, all that kind of stuff. And I also want to make myself a hip bag. So I was saying that I quite want to dip my toes into the world of bag making. And those of you who follow Rachel Maxey will have seen that she made herself a teacup holster, which was the most adorable project ever. And I thought that that would be cool as a kind of bag. I think she actually has one. A bag that sort of sits on the hip. If I can find a reference photo, I'll post one somewhere, probably up there. But yeah, like a bag that kind of sits on your hip, that is attached to a belt and then has like a holster that goes around your thigh. Quite a bit steampunky, I think. But I'd like to make one of those. If I do make it, I'll try and upcycle. I think I have in here somewhere, I'm not sure where they've gone. Oh, right on the top there is a pair of leather trousers that I once bought that really are too tight for me now. So I might try and upcycle some old leather trousers into this kind of hip holster thing. And then the last thing that I want to make is the coat that never was. So when I made that fabulous checky plaid coat that I made last year that I absolutely love, I kind of let my heart rule my head a little bit, and I made a coat that really wasn't what I was after. It's fabulous and I'll still wear it, but what I wanted was something with a hood. I wanted something with a high-ish neck and something with like lots of pockets. And there is a coat by Elba Textiles, I think, over on Instagram. Let me see. So I have that in my head, and I have some ideas of what I want to make it in, and it's probably going to be a complete labour of love. So yeah, stay tuned for that. That might become a video of its own, we'll see. So yeah, to recap, Victorian petticoat and Victorian ball gown, new jeans and jean shorts, a shacket, a strapless underwired bra that's probably going to have to be self-drafted or heavily adapted from a pattern that I already know I like, a gardening apron or tool belt and a hip bag holster thing, and a coat. So I hope you enjoyed this little chat, and if you like this video, I would really love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments for me, feel free to leave them down below. Stick around and watch another video if you like this one, and I will see you next time. Bye!